My name is Carolyn Locke, and my winning poem was entitled Thoughts on Migration. The poem basically explores the migration patterns of the monarch butterfly and the way that they winter over, I guess you would say, in the Oyamels in Mexico. And it also is a poem that goes deeper than that eventually to deal with migration in a broader sense, but it's through the metaphor of the monarch butterfly. I read a quote and wrote it in my journal, and this quote was about the monarchs, and it said, monarchs cluster together to stay warm. Tens of thousands can cluster in a single tree. Although monarchs alone weigh less than a gram, tons of thousands of them weigh a lot. Oyamel trees are generally able to support the clustering butterflies, but sometimes branches break. And I read that quote, I looked back in my journal on August 8th of 2021, and that image of the breaking branch just stuck with me. I asked myself, what would it be like to be the last monarch landing and the cause of the branch to break? And also, what would it be like to be the Oyamel tree hosting those thousands of butterflies? I started recording more researched information about the Oyamel, learned about how high it grows, why the cloud forest in Mexico is a perfect habitat for it, everything that I could find about the Oyamels. What happened was that the information, I sort of internalized it over time and still was very intrigued. Like I didn't know that I was going to write a poem about what I wrote about. I wasn't really sure. I was just intrigued. So then on September 2nd, I looked in my journal and I had 3 pages of notes that I took on the monarch that I gleaned from reading and YouTube videos and anything that I could find out about the process of the monarch. On September 18th, I began the first draft of the poem. And it was then that I realized that what was haunting me about it was, yes, the actual thing about the monarchs and the Oyamels, but something deeper. And so when I got to the draft, to the end of the poem, I realized that the title was probably going to be key to the poem. I think the research was new for me. I did less of that. I do less of that in general. My regular poems, they don't necessarily come from that kind of curiosity that requires scientific, information. But I just felt like this poem, if I was going to write about the monarch, I just really had to know what it was all about, what it actually did. And, what I learned, probably only 1/10 of it is in the poem. But by doing that, it gave me the confidence to, to write about it, to say, okay, I can write about this thing and have meaning and understand the background of it. So I started writing poetry when I was in high school, and that was many, many, many years ago. I've written pretty much all of my life. And I would say, there were periods when I didn't. For a while, and I had a family and a career as a teacher, and some of that interfered occasionally, but really it's just something that I knew I needed and wanted to do with my life. It makes me feel alive. The best advice I've gotten from whoever I've worked with, and I've got a master's, an MFA in creative writing, and I've worked with various writing teachers and also writer friends. And I think probably the best advice for me is to listen to my own voice, to not discount it, to give myself time with it, to hear it, and believe in it.